Hi, I'm Scott Bateman, a filmmaker and author here in the Hudson Valley. And I'm talking today with the musician Amy Freshour Kelly of the Cult of KFYMA, a very cool new musical project. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Scott.
I'm loving the new stuff that I'm hearing. It sounds like it's the sound of your music is really cool because it's kind of like a mashup of various different sounds from around the world, but also great beats to it as well. How would you describe your music?
Weird kind of stuff that I would like to listen to.
There you go.
I have very unusual and eclectic tastes, and that's what I want to make. And I like to make it joyful and a little different.
It is joyful, and some of it's a little bit funny and fun to listen to as well.
You.
Really enjoying the new track. I don't have time to talk to you about molecules or to explain about molecules.
I don't have time to explain molecules to you.
That's what it is. I don't have time to explain molecules to you, which is a wonderful track. It almost reminds me of like old 80s like cold cut and stuff where they were just chopping up samples and putting it over dance music. And it's very much in that vein.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very, very fortunate to have made the acquaintance of a voiceover artist named
Oh,
Anne Hatfield, who is at the top of her game. And she very kindly performed the vocal samples for that. And she also happens to be, again, she's an acquaintance, and she said, I don't have time to explain molecules to you in a tweet to
yeah,
someone. And I said, that's a song.
that is a song.
And
Yes.
so I contacted her and I said, hey, Anne, we're doing a song.
Oh, by the way,
and this is pre-COVID. And she's like, we're what? So and she has, a professional studio, and she did it and she did all kinds of different takes, and
oh wow.
some of them were like a scientist, some of them sounded like a librarian, but we came across this sort of exasperated mom sound that it's just.
That's what makes it so fun, I think. It's that combination of music and science, but also she's just had it.
Yes, she's had it. And that's
Yeah.
the thing that really makes it. If it wasn't for her, this would not be a song on so many levels. So very, very fortunate for her.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was just a fun song. I
It
also had
is.
guidance from a guy, a huge Zappa freak and music
Oh,
theory genius named Bill Govier in California, who's a lawyer by day, but a crazy music guy by night. And he gave me some production notes, which helped a lot in the middle section.
very good. And how do you even construct those beats?
Those are interesting. I use a lot of different programs for that. For that song in general, or that song specifically, or just in general?
In general.
In general,
Yeah.
I use all kinds of different things. As you know, because we've known each other for 20 years, uh, I am a drummer, and rhythm means a lot to me. So I can pretty much make a beat on just about anything you give to me. But for these things, most of them, if I do record myself creating a beat, I run it through so many different filters that it's difficult to tell whether it's acoustic or not.
Yeah, some things sound like they're from like 80s pop songs. Some things sound like they're from Nine Inch Nails in the 90s. And it's just this, and plus You're throwing in a lot of world music instruments to your music. Not that Molecule song particularly, but there's a lot of music that you do. You're hearing sitar and maybe a Japanese instrument and other sorts of things from all
Or
over the world in one track.
like maybe a didgeridoo.
Perhaps.
Yeah,
Why? Obviously, it's something that you like, and that's really cool.
I like a lot of different types of music, and I use a lot of different methods for creating beats. I don't think that there is any reason to be a purist about how I create things.
Oh yeah,
So I will use
everything's fair game.
pretty much. So
Yeah.
for instance, if I happen to be just sitting there with my iPad, I may just open up Roland Zen Beats, which I think is a really, really good app. It's Roland, the synthesizer company.
Oh right, right.
Yeah, they're the ones who made the Juno series and the Jupiter 6, which are what Howard Jones started out with, and he's
Holy
a
cow.
keyboard genius.
Yeah.
They purchased the Zen Beats software, which were originally just basically drum machines, but they also, they're also famous for making their own drum machines like TR-707, the 808, the 8000 series, all of these different things. So Zen Beats, the Rollins Zen Beats is a really, really good app. It's a desktop version. It's an Android and iOS version.
Oh wow.
And you can do amazing things with it. You can construct beats organically on it by tapping. You can construct them by building them as you would on a sequencer. There are all kinds of different patterns you can use. It's fantastic. I do that. I like to use the Korg IK oscillator, which is
yeah,
that's fun, and
it is.
and it's a pretty affordable app. I like having apps right there on my phone. I like to be able to just pull it out and start making music, or just on anything. And
Yeah, it's kind of nice living in the future when we can do this.
yes, it is.
You used to have to actually buy all these different drum machines or actual percussion instruments and the recording equipment and have a studio.
Yeah, actually, there's a good story about where I sourced some of the music
Oh,
for the
really?
track Shimmering, Shattering, Cleansing on the new album. Last October, I was in London, and I visited the Tate Modern, where there was a display of George Takis's his magnetic sculptures.
Oh.
And there's a whole wall full of panels of metal with these orbs or pendulums, these orbs suspended over the metal panels that, depending on the magnetic frequency that's in the room and how many people are in the room, will strike the the panels at different times and create different sounds and different beats.
Oh, wow.
So I sat there
Different
for a couple
rhythms.
of minutes, just like with my voice app on, my voice memos on there, listening to it and sourcing that. And then
Nice.
I wasn't sure of the copyright the copyright issues, because George is dead, but the Tate Modern is still very alive.
Yes.
So I tried to replicate that. Tried to replicate the sounds that it had made, and that became the bass BASE for Shimmering, Shattering, Cleansing.
Oh, nice.
And then I ended up adding all kinds of thumpy, gritty bass notes, and I believe that I started out with I think that I used Zen Beats on that for the TR-808 stuff, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell me about the new album. What I've heard from it is great.
Thank you. Um, it's 9 songs long. And
What's it called?
it's called Mind Wash Manifesto.
Oh, that's nice.
Um, and it's named after a page on my website that is devoted to what I think about music. And everybody should think the same thing as me.
There you go. Very important.
I'm a cult leader, you know?
Yeah, of course, you got a reputation.
Yeah. Basically, my feeling on music is that there is no such thing as bad music. That there are reasons that you don't like music,
Mhm.
and that is perfectly valid, but it doesn't mean the music itself is bad.
Right.
There can be terrible people making the music, or there can be lyrics that are just freaking awful and horrifying. You know, well, let's say that they're about killing people or something in a really just horrifying manner, or trying to persuade people into something. That's terrible,
Yeah.
objectively terrible. But the music under it isn't necessarily bad because of that. Not that it makes me want to listen to it. I'm just saying
Right.
that music is music. And one example that I have on there is jazz bagpipes.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Yeah. Like for me, I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. And when I first heard that there was such a thing, I was like, color me fascinated. Let's
Yeah.
find out. I mentioned it to a coworker on that particular day, and they just first they thought it was a joke, and then it was just like bad.
Oh
But
dear.
but oftentimes, what people need is context. And once you get the context of the particular person I'm talking about, which you can find out at www.kfyma.com, and going to Mind Wash Manifesto, you'll see all about it. Once you have the context, you may be able to find yourself much more interested. So that's something about why it's called Mind Wash Manifesto.
Right.
Songs themselves are a whole mishmash of there's disco on there, there's forget what's on there. Bucolic Symphony tacos are on there. I remember that. I'm actually going into iTunes to see what's on my own album. That's bad, isn't it?
Nah.
Do you remember any of them? I am so bad. I do try to emulate certain people, and here it is. Oh, Alex had no part in this either. That's kind of fun. That's based on a loop that I wrote several years ago,
Oh, cool.
and that my coworker Alex was sitting with me at lunch, and I said, should I be doing this or that, do you think? I was using the chord chaos later for that. And he said, oh, I don't know, do this. I was like, oh, do you think this sounds better or this? I don't know, do this. Said, oh, okay, I'm done. What do you think I should call it? He said, I have no part in this. Don't leave me out of this. He called it Alex had no part in this. And so later, when I included that loop in this particular song, I called it Alex had no part in this either. And
Alex will be thrilled to hear it.
well, his daughter likes it a lot.
There you go.
He's not so crazy about it. Outer Space Orbit is sort of a prog rock thing.
Yeah.
Disco Dolak Revelation is it's based on the dolak, which is an Indian instrument.
Yeah,
And,
that's a nice piece. I like that one.
yeah.
I've heard that one.
Fidelity and Zeal is a bunch of midis I created for a string quartet,
Oh,
and a bunch of different crazy things thrown in there. Ooh, ooh, hey, ooh is just a dance song.
yes. I
Uh,
like that one too.
sampled sampled gospel lyrics. So all kinds of crazy things.
Yeah, and a lot of aside from like I don't have time to explain molecules to you, which has a person a sample of someone speaking. A lot of your music is instrumental. And it's like it's mashing up different, not just different, a lot of different styles. I mean, a lot of it reminds me of the approach to music people had like in the late '90s when they were sampling, like Beck's Odelay, where it's like you just build a lot of samples that don't really go together into music. That's really cool.
Oh my God, you just talked about Beck and me in the same sentence. Okay, I have to die now.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I love throwing different things together. To me,
Yeah.
at least this is just my opinion, and everyone is different, but it seems to me that a lot of creativity is just the juxtaposition of incongruities. So
Yes.
it's contrast. It's just putting something together with something else that wouldn't necessarily make sense, but it kind of works. So unusual instrumentation,
Right.
big thing. Changing up the style of something where you might think that, like for instance, if you're into covers of particular kinds of music, which I am very much into, um, there are great covers of great songs that completely change the genre of the
Oh
song.
yeah.
For instance, there's a song by Madonna off the Ray of Light album called Frozen, and it's 6 minutes of beautiful, pure music, heavily produced by William Orbit, and it's
Right.
just it cuts to your hearts, and it's so moving. And then the Peace Brothers, which is a punk band, put together a kind of power pop version of it that's only like 3 minutes long. It's like da 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 da, and it sounds. I mean, it's hilarious and it works. It's really, really good. They don't miss a beat. They don't miss a word. They don't miss an inflection. They just do it differently, and I love that.
That's very
So
cool.
that kind of incongruity is part of what I try to do in my music.
Yeah, it's definitely there, and it makes it just great to listen to
Thank you.
because you never know what's going to happen next, and some of the songs just kind of start mutating in the middle and just something completely different, and then somehow you also bring it back, which is amazing. So
Thank you. That's one thing that I enjoy doing with the software that's available now that I wouldn't have been able to do even like 20, 30 years ago, is approach music like approaching Lego blocks.
yeah, yeah,
You can actually just take sections and move them around and repeat them in certain points. Um, I like math a lot. I like numbers a lot. And
yeah,
I've always thought of music as being an expression of math. So even though I feel very intuitive about it, I also feel very intuitive about math. So for me, I'm able to go, oh, this is going to be on the 3. This is going to be a 7. Boom, 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 boom. This is where it's going to go, and I can just go, ooh, do, 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 and there it is, and place things where they need to go, like blocks, and pluck something from somewhere else and put it in, and
yeah, yeah,
I don't think that that's really very original for me though, because there are so many really good musicians and DJs and MCs out there who do very similar things.
yeah,
I mean, with different types of samples and beats.
right,
They're not
yeah,
necessarily creating their own, but they do the same kind of thing. And
yeah, it's definitely, and a
yeah,
kind of cut up collage like approach to making music where you just grab a slice of this and grab a couple bars of that and whatever sounds good.
yeah,
Just like making a visual collage, whatever looks good.
yeah, Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
And
and you seem to be really good at it, so that's great.
thank you. Thank you. So I enjoy it. I'm working on some new stuff. I'm actually working with a few people who are going to be singing.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I have a lady
Any?
from, hmm?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, a lady from not far from where you live is
Oh,
going to be performing Ray of Light by Madonna with me.
oh,
Of
nice.
course, it's going to go somewhat different from the way that William Orbit and Madonna did it. But she's a classically trained soprano, and she
Oh,
is freaking amazing, and she's very, very
wow.
funny.
That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, so it's going to be good. I have a guy from Yorkshire who has contributed some vocal samples of Yellow's "Oh Yeah."
Well, I heard that one on your SoundCloud, actually.
Yeah,
I
well,
think it was a rough mix or something, or a rough
yeah,
work in progress.
very much
But
a
it
very
was
much a wit, but yeah,
very funny. It's really good.
yeah. So
Is there anything else you want to say about your music or the new album or what's coming up?
don't ever be afraid to listen to something. If you don't like something, listen to it again and try to figure out why you didn't like it.
Yeah.
What specifically you don't like, and especially if it's something that I made. If you didn't like it, purchase it and then listen to it again and again to figure out why you didn't like it.
Yeah.
And then
And maybe
email,
purchase it twice.
no, just email me about it.
Yeah.
And if you can convince me, then I'll refund your money.
Okay. That's fair enough. This is I've been talking with Amy Freshour Kelly of the Cult of
FEMA.
KFYMA. Been talking with Amy Kelly. Amy Freshour. I've been talking with Amy Freshour Kelly
Your
uh,
friendly
of the
neighborhood
Cult
cult leader.
of KFYMA. Anyway, we've been talking,
Speaking to
and it's
you
been nice.
about Scott Bateman.
Yes, and good to talk to you today.
Good to talk to you. Thank you so much, Scott.